Hey, welcome back to the channel. Sam Sanders and Sam Sanders Media, home of the Sam Podcast, sharing them with the masses. Got with me today a special guest, Tease Tidbits.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, I know it's been a while since I put anything together, and maybe this is going to be a regular thing. We just kind of get back being adjusted. My future co-host here, she's just getting out of the Navy. Can you believe it? She served 9 years. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. It was rough.
Yeah, it was rough. The Navy. Yeah, she served in the Navy, so we already know how rough that was. And tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yep. My name is Tierra. I'm from Texas. Like he said, I just served a 9-year bid in the United States Navy. And for the Navy people, y'all know what's up. Y'all know it can be very stressful for the most part. So right now I'm just transitioning into, the civilian lifestyle and working to become a millionaire, doing a lot of little dibbling and dabbling and, working on my podcast as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great aspirations to have. And me too, being a fellow Army veteran, though. So, the real deal 31 mics. Hoorah. Everybody know how that
Did
goes. 3 years. But my
three
three,
years.
but 3 years versus your 9 years is even more so because we actually did work. We weren't just hanging around on a boat that didn't work.
Well, even though the boat didn't work, we still was at work like it worked. I
Oh
have a
man,
19-hour, not 19 hour, but staying to work to like 1900 doing busy work.
that surprised me more than anything. You shared a
Hmm.
lot with me earlier. I was like, wow, wow, I can't believe it. But hey, you answered a lot of questions. I said, man, I've been at the army since 1988, and it's just you telling me these stories. I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, I would have never known because I just look at it from the army point of view. So
Hmm. Yeah, it's shocking. Like a lot of people, like you really don't know like what goes on, and you just like assume people are like just lounging around or you know, but nah, like you really do work, and on top of work, you have watches. So and that can range from 4 to 8 hours. Some watches are 12 hours. And it's not like when you get off, you go to your barracks room. Like your rack is, two doors down from where you work. So if they want to, they will come wake you up and make you go back to work to do something.
yeah, I guess it could be the same thing with living in a barracks also,
Mm-hmm.
but just the images that you've shown me of what a navy, what a ship is like, I would have never known. I'm used to what the barrack system looks like in the army. It's basically like a college dorm.
Mm-hmm.
So but man, I could never imagine being stacked on stacked on stacked and a little personal space that you have. I'm like that was like totally unbelievable. Just the things we do to serve our country. It's like we when you're a veteran, you basically write the government a check, you know, to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You be where you want to be. That's why you have to take care of yourself and get every benefit you can out of it. I know I'm late on the ball game, but I actually finally went to the VA, and I
Mm-hmm.
I know people are like, "Why did you wait
Yeah.
so long?" But I actually went actually have a VA card that came within 5 days. So I was
Oh
like
wow.
pretty pleased. Because I
Congrats.
always just heard things that wasn't so great about uh, the VA, and
Mm-hmm.
but I was just like, now I said I'm older. I said I'm now gonna see what other extra benefits I can get out of life,
Yeah.
because I'm retired and everything. So I'll see. So, but it's like I said, and plus the VA wasn't actually here in my hometown. It was in a different city, so I wasn't gonna
Mm.
travel 2 hours to do anything.
They reimburse you. That's a benefit. Like they will reimburse you for like if you have an appointment somewhere and you have to drive. So
Yeah, I heard that, but I don't want to have to drive
I trust me, I understand.
no more than the 10 minutes in the city I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, but so far I've been pretty pleased. But I'll see what it's like after I have my first appointment. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Nothing can, in my opinion, nothing can get worse than Navy medical. So I guess I'll see how the VA works. I haven't been to the actual VA yet.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
Well, you need to get on the ball.
I mean, I've done like but they send you like when you do your VA claim, they send you to other doctors.
Right.
So I've done that, but I haven't been to the actual VA to be seen for anything like
Yeah.
that I'm sick. So
I have my. I'm still gonna keep my personal doctor that I've my
oh
personal
yeah,
private doctor, and I'm planning on keeping my my personal insurance, medical insurance that I have. So,
absolutely.
but so far, we'll see. We'll see in September when I have my first appointments. And it's just crazy. It is all the way into September before actually can be seen by their doctors, and I'll probably have a couple of appointments with my own doctor, my
Mm-hmm.
private doctor before then. So,
Yeah, that's one thing about the VA. They will take their sweet time when it comes to stuff. They have at least 125-day turnaround for anything you need
wow,
done. Yeah,
wow, I did not know that.
yeah.
So, what made you get into the military, and what made you choose the Navy?
So for me, I went to college for a year, and my first semester, I did great. I was focused, and my second semester was like,
Start the party.
yeah, that. And I was like on academic probation, so I couldn't go. I think I couldn't go back to school full time or something like that.
Mhm.
So I was like, I don't want to sit around, my hometown,
Right.
doing nothing. And I knew I wasn't going to join the Army or the Marines, so those two were just off. And then I went to the Air Force recruiting office, and they weren't taking women at the time or
Oh
something.
wow.
And I didn't know much about the Navy, and I was like, well, I guess this is it. And that's how I joined. I just didn't want to be sitting around like doing nothing while I figure out what to do. And I was like, I could get my school paid for, and
Right.
all of that. So I was like, might as well.
Yeah, might as well. So, like I said, I went in, I was getting bored at school
Hmm.
myself because I had already been in college. It was in a couple of years, and I was getting, believe it or not, I was getting bored, because it takes a lot, especially if things aren't going exactly the way that I want them to go.
Hmm.
So, I get bored very easily. So I said, well, let me go do this. I went for 3 years and then went back to college. So, it's just an opportunity. It's something that I wanted to do to make myself well rounded also, and plus
Right.
my father, he served he fought in the Korean War, so he was a combat veteran. I was fortunate. There were no wars going on, because other
Hmm.
countries were really kind of afraid while I was there. So, that kind of made a big difference for me because
Hmm.
we had no problems. Even though there was something always going on when I was in Korea, though, there was something always going on.
Yeah, it's little. It's always little conflicts going on,
Yeah.
but nothing major.
So what? Okay, what do y'all have? We have basic training,
Hmm.
we have AIT, and then we got put our. What is the protocol for the Navy? What is?
We have basic training. So you go to boot camp, and then whatever job y'all call it MOS, we call it rates.
Uh-huh.
You go to school for that, which is called A school. So after you finish A school, when you sign your contract, you can get a specific um, NEC, which is like an additional training to whatever. So let's say you sign a contract to be a corpsman, which is basically like a LVN,
Okay.
but you want dental assisting or you want to do x-rays or something, you could negotiate that before you go. So you'll go to boot camp, then you'll go to your A school, which is like being an LVN. Then you'll go to additional school, which is your C school, which is that specific thing like x-rays or dental hygienist or doing CAT scans or whatever. So you have your A and your C school, and then after that, you go to your first command.
Yeah, it's like you said, we've got a basic training. I think I was in basic training back in those days for 63 days.
Okay.
And then I went to my AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training, and I
Mm-hmm.
was there for maybe 5.5, 6.5 months, to learn
Mm-hmm.
my job. And then from there, I went to my first duty station, and I was in my first duty station for maybe a year and a half or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, my last year in the military, I went to Korea. So
Nice.
those were my times. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's something that I would only do once. I don't think I would wanted to make a career out of it because I didn't. But it was
Mm-hmm.
just like really, it was just something that it was different. It was to me, it was almost kind of like college except getting paid. And
Yeah,
it's like it
most
was a
definitely.
job.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, if there was no war, no conflicts going on, it was basically to me like an 8 to 5 job. So that was something that hey, it was enjoyable to the. I'm glad I did experience it.
Mhm. Yeah, the Navy is similar like that. Like you have, it's like a job, and then on top of your job, you have like additional collateral duties that you
Right.
do on top of your basic job.
Yeah, and that's the difference. You explained that to me earlier. We were talking
Hmm.
off camera. I was like, no, I don't recall any of that happening in the army.
Like y'all never had duty days ever.
Our duty days were basically my job was Monday through Friday.
Hmm.
I had every weekend off, unless maybe you were a CQ runner or something like that, and that didn't happen very often. And I think all of that happened only because I was getting ready to get promoted, because
Hmm.
they try to put you in as much leadership roles as possible. So,
Right. Yeah, we had like our duty days, and it just depends on your command. You could have duty every 3 days, so you
mhm.
will work weekends, or you could have every duty 8 days. That's what I had, duty every 8 days.
Wow.
So it would just, yeah, it depend. And then like some jobs, like you'll work like a 3 on 2 off schedule. So you'll work like Monday, Tuesday, be off Wednesday, Thursday, and work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the next week it'll flip. So it's different schedules, so it just depend.
I guess I was fortunate. I was happy with the MOS. If you know, I always like look at it now because of the job I had in the army.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't translate to a civilian job because of the clearance I had.
Mm-hmm.
I said if I could do it all over again, I said I probably would have taken that job maybe as a MP, military police, or
Mm-hmm.
some type of job working in a hospital, because those jobs they translate to a civilian job. But the job I had, I remember when I got debriefed, we were in San Francisco for a week before I actually got to come to back home to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, because they were like, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. And he's like, I wasn't allowed to talk about my job, what I did,
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I did because of my job, so because of the clearance that I had. So were you satisfied with the job that you had? If you could do it all over, would you choose something else, or were you like satisfied with what you had?
I would choose something else, and then like my job, it doesn't really correlate either, unless I want to do my job, but as a civilian, like a government contractor,
Uh-huh.
doing the same thing. So, and that's going to be a negative. So,
It,
I would definitely choose. Yeah, I would be like a medical, do something in medical for
right.
sure. Because I don't know how y'all's medical is, but ours is it's terrible. Like you could go in there with a broken foot, and they'll give you like Motrin
Motrin, yeah, Motrin
and send
was
you on
the
about your day.
Motrin was the pain. I remember when I came back, I had, because I had some injuries, of course,
Mm-hmm.
that you just the wear and tear of being in the military. I think I had bottles and bottles of Motrin. I was like, and you don't realize what it
Mm-hmm.
is until after you realize, like, this is just what Advil or Tylenol.
Yeah.
It's like Motrin.
Yep.
Just like
Here you
here
go.
you go. You're like, making songs with it, playing with the bottles. But other than that, man, other than that, I think I had some great times. You met some people, and it's like I wish we had the technology that they have now.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people I really would like to stay in contact with, but I haven't really found anybody from none of my units, none of my past units at
Mm-hmm.
all.
That's how I am, kind of, because I don't have any like social media.
Anyway,
So like I've kind of lost contact with a lot of people I was in contact. But like yeah, you definitely build relationships because you're all together
right,
embracing the what we call embracing the suck. Because
right.
you're at work all day, and then you're on watch all day, and then when you're deployed, you're with the same people all day. So I
and
mean, you either build a close relationship or you're gonna hate whoever you're working with.
right.
So.
And that's it's like I said, I think I got along with everybody that I like, even
Mm-hmm.
those that kind of served under me and that I served under. I think pretty much, and that was really a lot of camaraderie because we kind of understood each other. But you got your little
Mm-hmm.
cliques everywhere you go, but I think the group of people that I hung around with were pretty good people. So, we were
That's
all
good.
soldiers, and that's what the thing back then. We all partied together and we served together. So that was really one of the great things.
Okay, so sailors, we have like the drinking stereotype. So y'all party that hard too, like
Yeah,
yeah.
like I said, it was just like it was to me. It was like being in college again. Still, you know, I was still fresh off of being in North Texas, and
Mm-hmm.
you go into the service, and at that time it was that dear, and it was like there was time to be serious. There was time to be serious,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to learn your job because you want to get all the promotions that you can.
True.
But once it make it to the weekend, hey, that's where you want to be on the weekend and enjoy yourself. So,
See, y'all promotion are different. Y'all just get promoted based on your performance, correct?
well, you get performance, PT. What else is time served? Those are the things that get you promoted. You
See,
know,
for us, we take a test.
did you?
Yeah, you take a test for like whatever your job is, and you have to score a certain amount on the test, and then that's how you get promoted. But even if you pass the test, you don't always get promoted. You'll get like a pass, but not advance
Okay.
or whatever. So because they have a quota. So let's say 1,000 people with the specific job takes a test, but they only need to promote 20%
Mm-hmm.
of that. They only will promote 200 people.
Well, well,
So
well, like I said, I went into the army. I went in with the rank of PFC, which is an E3.
okay.
So I already had that rank. And once I was at Fort Stewart, the job I was doing, I became a team leader.
Mm-hmm.
And, I graded well in all my tasks. And so I had to go to a board. You had to score a certain amount of points at that board because,
Mm-hmm.
you're there with officers, you're with your sergeant major. And my board was, I scored well, I
Mm-hmm.
passed my board, but it was my sergeant major because he was one of my frat brothers. And so
Mm-hmm.
he was saying additional stuff that only he and I would know because we were only Masons on the board.
Okay.
He was only one, on the board, and I was only one that was a Mason that was going to try to get my E5, try to get my E5, and I became promotable. So, within 3 years, if I would have stayed, even when I was at, even when I was in Korea before I was ETS, and they made me to go to PLDC, which is a primary leadership course.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept telling them, I'm not re-enlisting.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to come and give me. I was basically leading PT
Mm-hmm.
when from my company they came and got me so I could get ready to start my processing out of the unit. And not just the unit but the army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I kept telling them, say, y'all should save this spot for somebody that's gonna. And they were like,
Right.
no, you're already signed up to go, and they made me go. And it's like, people were like, "You're leaving?" I said, "Yes, I told you guys I was not re-enlisting."
Mm-hmm.
that was so funny. I enjoyed it. Yeah, but it was just time to go. It's like 3 years was enough for me.
Oh yeah. So you didn't care to make it a career? Why not?
I didn't really want to make it a career. It was just maybe if I was like been settled, I would have been
Mm-hmm.
married. But I was like, nah, don't get married while you're in the military
Mm-mm.
ever. Don't get married while you're in the military. So I was just like, I was ready to go. I was ready to be back a civilian and go back to college. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my thing.
I got you. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, marriage is rough
Yeah,
in the military,
yeah.
but
I could never, I could never. I saw too much. I saw too much to not, want to get married while I was in the Marines.
yeah, I have a crazy story. Because like when I was fresh in, like I didn't know what all went down like that, and then
Yeah.
so like my first like when I first checked in like the school, like when I went to like after I graduated, boot camp, and then I went to my
Where did you go?
A
Where did you
school.
go to boot camp at?
It was in Great Lakes, Illinois.
Illinois.
Yeah. So, and my school was right across the street from boot camp. So,
At the same place.
across the street from it.
At the.
But, some people they go to school down in Florida
Uh huh.
and San Diego, but
Yeah.
I was right across the street.
Wow, because I went to basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and I went to AIT at Fort Gordon,
Hmm.
Georgia. So I'm just like, that's wow.
Yeah, I didn't get lucky to go somewhere nice.
So what was it like at your? What was it like at your? What was it like at your basic training place versus your AIT? So did you have drill instructor? What do y'all have there?
Yeah, we had like drill instructors or whatever, but like once you go across the street to the school,
Hmm.
like they put like people students like in certain leadership positions.
Oh,
Like
really?
there'll be like a yeoman, which is somebody that like does paperwork or whatever for, so you'll have somebody that does that, or somebody that's in charge of, even when you, how I was saying, like you have watches,
Hmm.
like you have watches like when you're in school.
So you have watches in school?
And then you have watches in boot camp too, which is crazy. I guess
No.
they was preparing you for it, like going out. We call it to the fleet, because
Okay.
you always have a watch in the fleet. So like you'll be at boot camp and you already know, like you're already not getting enough sleep, and there will be an overnight watch where you're standing watch like at night, and then you have to participate in whatever you're doing in boot camp the next day, even though you've been up since 2 in the morning standing watch.
Wow.
So
See, we didn't have that.
yeah,
Like
it's
we didn't have.
watch is crazy.
I know it's different now, I believe, but we only had drill instructors at basic.
Hmm.
Once we went to AIT, we didn't have we had there were sergeants, were E7s,
Hmm.
E6s, E5s, but we didn't have a drill instructor.
We just had instructors.
Yeah.
Like that's it. They taught whatever, you know,
And see, and
you're
our
going for.
instructors were like, I guess civilian workers,
Okay.
G5s or whatever they were called, but we didn't have we didn't have like drill instructors, but it was fun. You learned a
Hmm.
lot. You met a lot of different people. To me, like I said, it was the same college atmosphere from when I was in college, and that's the whole way I looked at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're in like school.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely like a college experience,
And it
but
was,
you're getting paid.
yeah, the little money you're getting
Yeah, the
paid,
little money you getting paid. You
but
think back to your like my little E1 checks. I'm like, ooh,
see, I never got an E1 check,
yeah,
so
I
I
got
was
an
like,
E1 check.
so I had the E3 checks the entire time.
It's balling.
I guess so. I didn't have to wait, and that was just the funniest thing about it. And when you sit back and reflect on it, it's
Hmm.
just like, those were some times, but you had your rough days, you had your days where your sergeants were mad at you, like
Mm.
your your first sergeant was mad, your commander was mad, which was like, hey,
See, you call it like first sergeants. We call it like, you have your petty officers and then you have your
how
chiefs.
does, like I said, y'all, you're, I still don't. Okay, what is a petty officer? What is that? A E what?
Okay, you become a petty officer third class at E4, and
E,
then E5 is petty officer second, and then E6 is petty officer first. And then so once you hit that E7, that's when you're a chief.
uh,
But it's chief. Well, it's really chief petty officer
a
or
chief
whatever.
petty officer.
But yeah, but you just call him chief or whatever.
So
And
what
then you
is?
have your senior chief, which is the E8, and then your master chief, which is the E9.
Okay, so that's like a sergeant major.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've never been able to understand
Yeah.
the the Marines and the Navy ever. Like,
Hmm.
okay, what is it? A gunner sergeant, a gunnery sergeant? I've never really been able to
That's how I
understand.
feel about, like, I guess Army
I
and
guess
Air
yeah,
Force and Marines terminology.
yeah,
Cause
because
I'm
it's
like,
like ours is ours is to us is simple, to y'all it might be just as confusing. Because like I said, an E1, that person has no
mm-hmm,
rank.
mm-mm.
Then an E2 has the one rocker. He has the one, has the one. Oh my
Mm.
God, I can't even think of what it's
The
called.
one little, yeah, we
Yeah,
call them French
French
fries.
fries.
Yeah, that's what we call them when you like a E1 to E. Well, E1 you don't even have like anything. You're just nothing. That's called a seaman recruit. They still classify you as a recruit.
Really?
Yeah, like you're in boot
God.
camp, and then once you hit E2, that's a seaman apprentice.
Yeah,
So
see, that's
you
just.
get two little French fries, and then a E3 is a seaman. Just
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's when you have the and the rocker. So
Yeah.
that's what you have these three, and then E4. It depends if you're in a combat unit, you could be a
Mm-hmm.
corporal.
Mm-hmm.
And then if not, you're like a
Mm-hmm.
specialist four, and then E5 is a sergeant, and E6 is a staff sergeant, E7 is
Staff.
sergeant first class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like,
See, I know.
I thought I had it,
Yeah, I know.
but
It's too funny. It's those have been the times. Like, man, it's like, man. Sometimes you just sit back and you reflect upon these things. You're
mm-hmm.
like, man, that's just an experience. As many people as been in the military, just think how many people haven't been in the military.
Yeah, because it's what like 10% or 1% or something. The
And that's just so crazy. It's just wow.
Because I feel like I meet a lot of people who have like some type of connection to the military. So in my mind, I assume somebody has been in the military, but I guess not. Because in our family, like your father, I'm the only one. Well, my older brother,
Yeah.
but like my parents, I don't think my grandparents or anything were like connected
No. Not.
to the military.
But you have several cousins. That
Mm-hmm.
military, and you have an uncle that was in the military. So, but we come from a military. I do like on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Like on my father's side, it's like a lot of people they were Marines.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I can never do that.
why you don't think you can do that? You
I I have military bearing, but I'm not. It's just like too extreme. Mm-mm. It's too extreme. That's why I didn't want to join the army or the Marines. Like, you
well,
know.
you would have. I think you would have been okay in the army.
Yeah, I probably
No,
would have been okay.
you would have been okay in the army. The Marines,
I
I don't
probably
know.
would have been kicked out. Like,
But
mm-mm.
man, just thinking about those basic training days. I looked at it too. Took it like it's been tour days in football. So,
Yeah.
I always kind of put my mindset of what this relates to, and if I made
Mm-hmm.
it through tour days all through high school, I could make it through 63 days of going through basic training.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, and it was just so funny. My drill instructors that was of of my platoon, they were all from West Texas.
Oh yeah.
One was
Dang.
actually from Lubbock.
Mm-hmm.
One was from Big Spring. One was from Littlefield.
Wow,
And they
that's
just
crazy.
they said, why we give you a hard time? I said, because you from West Texas. We have to make sure. I was like, what? It's like, and then he explained one of his mother lived across the street from Coronado High School.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was just like, man, and once that's like, no wonder they gave me a hard time. But it's like they just like want to make sure you're right.
Would you be a drill instructor?
Well, I would have maybe because I was a drill instructor in the STAR program at one
Mm-hmm.
time
Mm-hmm.
here. So yeah, I think I would have that military bearing, to do that. I think I would. I think I would get burned out easily.
Oh yeah, their hours.
Yeah, they those guys are like,
Mm-mm.
man, I see why they have a different cycle.
Yeah, I know they like for our like we call them recruit division commanders RDCs. And I know like normally you'll get automatically advanced just for taking that.
Right.
Like I'll do it for like one division, but like
Yeah. So
because just to mess with people or whatever. Because like you're in boot camp and you're like nervous and you're like
right,
afraid you're about to get we call it getting beat where they make you like do push ups or
right.
whatever if you do something. So I would just do it to like mess with people, like just yell at them for no reason, But I couldn't do the.
Yeah, cause I just think I would get burned out because like they
Yeah, a lot
put
of
in
people
some
do.
hours and in dealing with the youth. And it's like, and now I think it's just totally different. It's nothing like the way it
Mm-hmm.
was when I was involved. So, but yeah,
I'll do one division. That's it.
right.
That's it. Yeah, now I think they have like for the Navy. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard they have like stress cards.
Yes, that's what they have in the army
Oh,
also.
okay. So like if you're
That's actually true, and that's like
nah,
never.
if I was an RDC, I'm ripping your stress card up, and you about to finish these push-ups.
You would
Like
be in so much trouble.
I know that's why. That's why.
Yeah, but man, that's just one of the things that's totally different. That's like, are these even soldiers anymore? I'm like, you know what you're getting involved with. You
Mm-hmm.
signed up for it. Nobody made you sign up for it, and you're gonna pull out a stress card.
Yep.
Never again.
Yes.
I said, I wonder if those people that do that, do they ever play sports? Because you've had coaches yell
Yeah.
at you
I
from
was
the
a rough
fifth,
coach.
from the fifth grade. Just like I don't know. I couldn't pull out a stress card.
My feelings hurt. Yeah, see, what's crazy? I was a U6 soccer coach, meaning I coached under six girls, and I'm yelling at them like I'm a drill instructor. So none of them pull out a stress card. So I
That
don't.
is too funny, man.
Yeah, that like when it comes to stuff like that, when people are complaining, we have a sea bag. So like this wasn't that's so the older like people we call them salty would be like, well, that's not issued in your sea bag. So this,
See, man,
yeah.
that is too.
Yeah. So like if you're like let's say like your kid or something has a like doctor's appointment, so you're like, hey, I need to take the afternoon off to take my kid to an appointment. Like, well, your kid wasn't issued to you in a sea bag, so
That is
good.
too
Yeah.
funny.
Good luck with that.
Wow, that is so crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, but so did you ever think you would stay in the army, in the navy, as long as you did?
No, I was like kind of like I didn't want to do anything like so I kind of joined like to do something and I was going to do, 4 years and get out or whatever and the only reason why I re-enlisted is because like for my job they had like a sign-on bonus at the time and
Right,
I was like I could take this money and then I had got picked up cuz I was going to get out cuz you've seen the ship living conditions and
right,
I wasn't trying to live like that. But I got a NEC that transitioned over to aviation so I wouldn't have to be on the ship. So I guess that kind of lined up. So I was like, I can make some more money or whatever, and I'm getting a sign on bonus. So might
and,
as well.
and I guess the easy if you're there and you because you're already doing it. So
Mm-hmm.
did you keep the same job their entire 9 years, or did you change up?
So I kept the same job, but I got a NEC. So like how I was saying, like you go to school and
Mm-hmm.
you could have like the basic level where you could get a specialty.
Yeah.
So they offered me a specialty. So I had the same job, but I was specialized in something that transitioned to aviation. So that's like,
Right.
so I was kind of doing the same job, but not really.
Okay. Yeah, because like a lot of people, if I would have re-enlisted,
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have. I don't know, depending if there was a bonus involved, I would have stayed with the job that I had,
Mm-hmm.
or I would have, like I said, I would have chosen a job that I would have been able to translate into a civilian job. I would have, I would have, I would like, man, I
Mm-hmm.
would just have to go to, you have to think about it. You have to go through AIT again and
Mm-hmm.
to learn a new job. But man, I'm just like,
Yep, they call it like cross rating. Like there's a job that needs people,
mm-hmm,
you could apply to cross rate, and you'll have to go to the school
right,
for that. But yeah, I was lucky to go to. They offered me like a special NEC, and I took it. And I was
yeah,
like, might as well.
right. That's just
Cause
such
I was like, hey, cause I was like, so we do like sea duty, then you have shore duty or whatever, so you're not burnt out on the ship.
right.
So I was on shore duty, and so I was up for sea duty. So I would have to go back to a ship, but luckily I got that. So I was like, okay.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, you're back to being a civilian, so what do you have plans now other than making your way to become a millionaire?
Right now, I'm working on real estate, and I'm about to go to school. I applied for two different schools. I'm still kind of deciding between the two, but I'm probably gonna get like my Security Plus
Okay,
certificate in IT or cloud computing, which is basically like cloud engineering. So
okay, good. Good luck with
still
that. And also, what made you try to become a podcaster? What was that about? What's
well, I guess because I don't necessarily follow the mainstream, you know, way of thinking. And I like to, ask questions and, I like to talk. So I
right,
was like, I might as well make a podcast. So
right,
that's why I was like, people get paid to talk. So if my podcast takes off, I'm like, okay, cool.
yeah,
I get paid for running my mouth and I do that anyway.
right,
So,
right. Because you never know.
yeah.
But anyway, I just want to say, hey, thank you for stopping by, and Hope we can let this make it, and we'll get a chance to do this again very soon.
Absolutely.
So make sure you follow my girl T's Tidbits on all the platforms available.
Yep.
And we'll be talking to you guys again. Take care. Remember,